back on my mat. I'm going to start standing. Toes together, inch between your heels. And just drop your arms to your side. I want you to lift up through the crown of your head. Try and lengthen that spine. Separating those vertebrae, because there's all that good soft tissue in between each one of those vertebrae. And I want you to just focus on your breath and breathe into it. Make it healthy, vibrant. Remember to really try and inhale through your nose, exhale through your nose. And imagine that breath as an oval around your body. So it comes up the back of your body. Our energy always ascends up our back and descends down our front. So think of your breath in the same way. It just keeps going round and round. So you can actually inhale up, exhale, have it come around, and let that breath go. At the same time, you'll start to feel your shoulders drift away from your ears. Tuck those abdominals in and up. Start to create that strong core. Our feet are rooted into the earth, and Mother Earth is sending up all sorts of gifts for us this morning. Health, gratitude, joy, love, peace, compassion, lots of words, lots of feelings. And just take them into your heart. Breathe them in, up the back, and down the front. In through the nose, out through the nose. And then take your right ear towards your right shoulder. And let that left shoulder, as a matter of fact, take that right hand, place it gently on that left shoulder. Just create a little bit of stretch, not much. We don't want to injure our necks. But just enough, just stretch that muscle out. It holds so much stress and tension. Just let some of it go and use that breath, remembering exhalations create movement. Exhalations create stretch. And then release your hand. Take your chin to your chest. Now let your head become heavy with a breath. And feel that stretch up the back of your neck. And then gently roll left to your left shoulder. Place your left hand on your right shoulder. Just very gently. And all you're doing is focusing on your breath. You're letting all those other thoughts, all those lists that you may have, what you're going to do later, let them go. And if you take your focus to your breath, that's the secret. Release your hand back to your side, chin back to your chest. So those of you out there that are tennis players, golfers, anybody that has to focus on something as they play a sport, maybe even bridge. I mean, think about it. You take all of your attention away from everything else that's going on and you focus exactly on that ball, those cards, whatever it may be. Bring that head up. Give me a deep breath up. Bring those hands through heart center. And let's step out wide this morning, toes pointed toward the outer edges of our mat. We're going to sit into a squat, and I know to start out with this is going to be, oh, why is she making us do this? Just gently, don't go deep. Keep that spine straight, keep that tailbone rooted into the earth, and keep the crown of your head rising toward the sky. Shoulders roll back and down. We're going to open up the chest and the shoulders. So take those arms forward, palms to the sky. and take them out to the side, drawing those shoulder blades toward each other, and then bring it back into heart center, back to prayer. So it's an inhale out, exhale back. And inhale out, and exhale back. And inhale out, and exhale back. And inhale out, and exhale back. Straighten those legs. Turn those toes forward and walk in. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. All right. So we kind of stretch the top of our body. We're going to go down and stretch up the back of the legs into the lower back. I'm going to do it standing up today. So you can stay where you are. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. And what I want you to do is just roll that spine down. Deepen your knees. You're going to soften those knees. Don't keep them straight. And count your fingertips with cup palms. So you have like little tripods. And you're balancing. You can move your feet so you could fist like one fist in between your big toes. And then let your head go and shake it out. All right, so deepen those knees even more as if you were going into a squat. We're going to do what I call 5 breaths. Each breath lifting a little higher, lifting a little higher, lifting a little higher till our legs become straight. So take your first breath. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Then come back down. Inhale again. Lift. Let's bring it back down. See if you can draw your nose towards your knee on each one. Inhale. Lift as you exhale. Bring it back down. 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, press it, press it, press it. Oh, stretch. Feel that stretch up the back of your legs into that lower back. Bring it back down. We got 1 more to go. Take a deep inhalation. Bring it up. Exhale. Oh, there's those hamstrings. Good morning. Bring your hands to your shins now, and you're going to press your upper body weight against your shins and look up, look forward. So now we've added that stretch sternum to chin, one of my all-time favorite stretches. Then bring your hands to your hips, soften those knees, and slowly roll up. Okay. Shake out your legs. So, let's now go to the top of our mat, and we're going to transition down onto the floor. And one of the transitioning poses that I always like to use is downward facing dog. So here you are. Let's start with our toes together, inch between our heels. Tailbones drop toward the earth, shoulders rolled back and down. We're in Tadasana, or mountain pose. Turn your hands forward and spread those fingers wide. Stay here, 3 breaths. Then on the next inhalation, inhale, arms to the sky. Swan dive with a flat back. Keep those abdominals tucked in as you go down. And as you get halfway, start to soften those knees. Come down, fingertips, cup palms. We just did this. Step back now, as far as you can. Downward facing dog. Now your feet can be fist width apart. Look up at your hands. Fingers are spread wide. And now you're going to press into the palms of those hands and deepen your V. So downward facing dog. It's a very healing pose. First thing in the morning, it should just get that head all straightened out if you've clogged up with sinuses. This is a great one for migraines, sinuses, allergies, whatever. Also, it stretches the rest of the body out. Let those heels relax, ankles relax, so those heels drop toward the mat. They do not have to be resting on the mat. Do not. Now we're going to bicycle our legs. One and then the other. And we're going to use the breath here. Inhale, press, exhale, press. Inhale, press, exhale, press. Inhale, press, exhale, press. And come back to your down dog. Come forward into a full plank. Here we go. Press up to those hands. Elbows are straight. Abdominals tucked in. We're just holding. Then drop onto your knees and bring those hands back under the shoulders, knees under the hips. So you can take those legs out a little bit. All right. Press up through your hands. Straighten those arms. Tuck your chin to your chest, your tailbone under, and press up into your cat back stretch. Bringing that breath now into that upper back. And you have a choice here. You can leave your feet flat or tuck your toes under and give the bottoms of those feet a good stretch. You can go from one to the other, just stretching out those feet. We're taking our breath and taking it into our upper back. One more breath. And then go into cow pose, dropping your pelvis toward the mat, pressing your hips toward the sky. Press up those arms and look forward. 3 more breaths. Return your spine to neutral. Uncurl your toes if you've got them curled. And now we're going to press back, taking that lower body over those lower legs. And you're going to feel a tremendous stretch right here in those thighs, those quadriceps. Come down on your forearms. And just breathe. You can stack your fists here and rest your forehead. You can stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. So just getting that lower body stretched out. We're not into a restorative rest and recover pose, even though this is. We're just working with those legs. All right, come on back up. Today we're going to work with the lower body a little bit by doing some hip flexor work. And whenever you hear that word, think of the word lunge, because that's what it's going to be. So we're going to just start out with a gentle, modified lunge. So I want you to take your left foot forward. Make sure that the knee comes directly over the ankle, which puts this right leg from waist to knee into an angle. And a stretch, that hip flexor stretch, which is right in here. Both hands on your left thigh. Shoulders roll back and down and straighten that spine. That's going to intensify that hip flexor stretch. Just breathe. Let the breath do the work. Today's a good day to just let the breath do the work. I don't want you doing much of anything because your breath's going to take care of you. Now, drop your hands to your sides. We're going to fan those arms up, straight up. Oh, that adds to that stretch. And just hold and breathe. And if you can, if you have no cervical neck issues going on here in your upper back, I want you to turn and look up. Breathe and sink into this pose. Then take a deep inhalation. Bring those hands down. We're going to bring this left leg back and right leg forward. All right. Knee comes over the ankle. Puts that left hip flexor into a stretch. And the further you walk these toes forward, the deeper you can go into that stretch. So see what's comfortable for you. Spine is straight, shoulders rolled back and down. Drop your arms to your sides. Fan those arms up again. And if you can, look up. Inhale, exhale down, bring that leg back. And now take your knees out wide and your toes together. Come up. Another hip flexor stretch together. So it looks like my hips are over our knees, but they really aren't all the way. So I'm going to take my fists, press them into my lower back, and press those hips forward till I feel that stretch. Shoulders roll back and down. And I can feel that stretch now all the way up to my neck. Now, if you can, go ahead and look up again. Take a deep breath here. Exhale and lean back. Let that heart, think about your heart here in conjunction with your breath. Each time you inhale, your heart lifts toward the sky. This is such a great stretch. Think about it, all of the forward bending you do and not enough of this. And then gently release, come back up. And we're going to go into a child pose. Keeping our knees out wide leg child pose. Forehead goes to mat and arms to your sides and let your shoulders drop. Here you should feel really comfortable. It's a great place to go to when you just want to let go. You can feel your back muscles relax. Palms of your hands are facing toward the sky. And then gently press yourself up. Come around and sit into potted palm, which is crossed legs. Make sure you're on your sit bones. If you don't know what those are, it's the very bottom of your pelvis. Very bottom of the bone. So I just kind of pull the fluff out. There you are. Come your hands over your knees. Let's stretch that back all the way down that spine. Take a deep breath, lengthen. Exhale, roll back onto those sit bones. Hold on to those knees and just press back. Taking your heart, pressing it toward your spine. Navel presses toward the spine. And I just want you to breathe into that back. Chin to chest, shoulders relaxed. Tuck navel to spine, release and roll up. Take your hands out to the side, turn your palms forward, spread your fingers wide. We're going to lift up by those hips. Take a deep breath and spinal twist to the right. Bringing hands together into prayer, into heart center. Keep those elbows up so you get that little bit of stretch in the back. And then look over that right shoulder. Spine is active in this pose. We're working the midsection here. And come back to center. Cup those hands over those knees, take a deep breath, round and release that spine again, roll back. Each time we do this, it just feels so much better. Tuck navel to spine, release and roll up. Walk those hands back out to the side. Bring them up shoulder height, turn those hands forward, spread those fingers wide. Take a deep breath, lift up out of those hips and spinal twist to the left. Looking over the left shoulder. Come back to center. One more time. Inhale, round and release the spine. Roll back. Tuck navel to spine, release and roll up. All right. Let's take those legs out wide today into sitting straddling splits. So just where it's comfortable. And I want you to get those legs as straight as you can. Try and get the back of those knees onto the ground if you can. You can activate those legs by flexing the feet and letting those toes come back towards you. Hands are going to come to center, fingertips cup palms. And again, working with that breath, we're going to walk ourselves forward. We're hinging at the hips. So you're really going to feel a stretch here in the inner thigh and in the lower back. So just take it easy. Focus on that breath. Just get as far as you can before you can't walk those fingers forward anymore. Then I want you to reach over with index finger and middle finger and take a hold of that big toe. Flex that foot back now. If you haven't got it, flex back. Flex it back now. Your heel will probably come off the ground. Then I want you to start to straighten that spine and take that arm straight up into the sky. All right, here comes a trick. Again, we're working with the back of that neck. If you've got issues going on with those cervical vertebrae, you look straight forward. Otherwise, I want you to turn and look up at that hand. Breathe. Not a good time to hold your breath here. Bring that hand back to center. That right hand comes over to join it. Now we're going to see how stretched out, a little bit of stretched out you've got. Take a deep breath, walk forward even more. Wow, you can do it. And then you're going to reach over with the left hand, take a hold of that big toe, index and middle finger, flex that foot back, straighten this arm, lock out that elbow. Try and stay weighted when you're doing this on both hips. So try not to come over the left leg. Stay centered. And again, here we go. Inhale, arm to the sky. Look up at that hand. One side's going to feel different than the other. Breathe. Got to breathe this one. It looks easy. If you're in it, you know it's not. Inhale, exhale, hand back to center. Left hand comes over to join it. Here we go. Take a deep breath and walk forward. Now I know I have some of you out there that can walk forward enough that you can lay your entire body down onto the ground. You just go right ahead and do that. I'm going to have to come back in my next life to get that done. Just never have been that super flexible. But if you can, you go ahead. Now here we are, fingertips, cup palms. Now we're going to use those hands to push you back up. I don't want you to use your lower back here at all. So press yourself back up. There you go. Bring those legs in and shake them out. All right. Bring your feet to the ground, hands to the back of your knees. We'll do a little balancing, a little core work. This really works the core, the center of our body. So get those shoulders rolled back and down so those muscles are locked into that spine, keeping that spine strong. We're going to come up on our toes, walk our toes toward us, and come up, legs straight across from the knees, and hold. It's easy so far. Now I want you to let go and balance. Breathe. 3 breaths. That's all. And then you're going to drop into butterfly. Bottoms of the feet together. Bring those heels as close as you can into you today. And just flutter your knees. Feel it in those hips. Feels good. Done some inner thigh stretching already, so those should be stretched out. Now it's just those hip joints. All right, bring those knees back together. Come up onto your toes. Walk back onto those sit bones. Bring those legs back up. Now, keep holding on to the back of your knees. I don't want you to let go this time. And we're going to take those legs all the way up. Keep that midsection strong. Keep those abdominals tucked in. Think about those shoulders. They're rolled back and down. And then drop into butterfly. Bring those heels in. Maybe you can bring them in a little closer this time. And flutter those knees. Then with your hands, bring your knees together. Straighten your legs out. Shake them out. All right, back up on your knees. Hands and knees. Walk your hands forward, tuck your toes under, down dog. Press into the palms of your hands. Give that body a good stretch while you're here. And then bend your knees and let's walk our hands back today to the back of our mat. Come into your forward fold. Bend your knees. Hands to your hips and roll your spine up. Get a drink of water if you've got one. Good time. So we warmed up our body. Time to do some work. So let's stay at the back of the mat today. Tadasana, mountain pose. Hands turn forward. Shoulders roll back and down. And Tadasana is always a great time just to give yourself a few seconds to kind of like regroup. So close your eyes, ground yourself. Check in with that body, that mind. Let everything go. And we're going to start with our hands to heart center. We're going to do a pose, Warrior One, which isn't as easy as all the rest. In Warrior One, your toes stay forward on the mat. So I'm going to have you start by stepping your left foot forward and bring that knee over the ankle. And then look back, and this foot, try and get it as straight forward as you can. Because remember, in all the rest of our warrior poses, I always say keep your hips open to the long side of your mat. Warrior One, you keep your hips open to the front of the mat. So just swivel those hips around. The hard thing is keeping that left knee over the ankle. And you want this back leg, it really has to be your stability leg here. So take this thigh, contract those muscles. So you really have a stable base from waist down. Drop your arms to your side. This is much like our modified lunge. We're going to take those arms and take them straight up to the sky. We're just standing. If you can again, look up. Sink into this pose. Now take a deep inhalation, and from here we're going to go right into Warrior Two. So the arms will open. You will turn those hips to the long side of your mat, and there you are. We're going to turn that heel a little bit now. I wasn't wide enough. I wasn't wingspan. Now I am. Spine is straight here too. So take a deep breath in, sink. Now, let's go from here. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale, reverse warrior. Look up. at that hand if you can. That's that cervical neck issue again. Otherwise, look straight forward. Inhale, exhale, back to warrior two. Now you're going to hinge forward. Bring that forearm down onto that thigh. Right hand to your hip. Open those shoulders. I say stack those shoulders. And then take a deep inhalation and take this up and over your head into extended angle. Make that right leg strong. Stretch through those right fingertips. There isn't a muscle in your body right now that isn't doing something. And you're breathing. Look up at your hand. Add a little balance. Uh-oh. Then look down at those left toes, pressing the mounds of those toes into the mat. Press back up to warrior two. Lower body doesn't move. Now straighten that leg. Oh, and parallel your feet and release your arms down. That brought up the heat. Looks so easy when you're watching. Come join us. You'll find out. Hands to your hips. If you've got your block close by, and I do, I guess I gotta turn myself around. Get your block. You don't need one, but if you do, and remember we have lowest side, middle, high. We're gonna put our head on this block. So I would suggest you choose a side. I'm gonna do middle. Put it in the center of you. Legs out, wingspan apart. Remember those feet should be under those fingers. And then hands to your hips. Here we go. We're going to keep those legs straight. Again, there are stability in this pose. Hinge at your hips and come down into a flat back. Keep that stretch, sternum to chin, and look forward. When you've gotten to that flat back, hold. Check in with those abdominals. They ought to be holding you up here. And then release your hands under your shoulders, fingertips cup palm. Release your head. You're going to drop onto your flat palms, and you're going to start to bend your knees, bend your elbows, and take them back toward the other side of your mat, and place your head on that block. And once you got there, I want you to walk your hands back in alignment with your feet. Be careful here. If you're not perfectly balanced, you could wind up doing a somersault. Don't want that to happen. So I would say, look back at your arms. It looks like your head's dropped into a box that your arms have created. Blood's going to the brain, keeping it healthy. We're breathing, we're stretching. Then walk your hands back where they were under those shoulders. Press up, look forward. If you were watching me, watch me walk my feet out even wider. Walk your feet in a little bit. Bend your knees so you're protecting that lower back. Bring your hands to your hips and roll your spine up. All right. So we did one side, that's all. We got the other side to do. So walk to the other side. Well, no, you don't have to do it. Yeah, I am gonna walk to the other side in a minute. Arms to your sides, Tadasana. You get a chance to regroup here. Take a deep breath. Now, we're gonna step the right foot forward. Remember, warrior one, try and keep those toes as forward as possible. And the big thing about warrior one is hips always stay toward the top of your mat. We don't want to turn our hips here. So just step forward pretty far. So you get that knee bent. You can turn that back foot a little bit. Try not to a lot, but find your balance. And then let your arms rest at your side. Deepen into the pose if you can. Get a good stretch going down that left leg. Hips square to the front. Fan your arms up. And again, cervical neck issues, keep looking forward. Otherwise, go ahead and look up. Ooh, that's a balance. And then use the breath to sink deeper into the pose. Y'all look so good. Take a deep inhalation. Exhale into warrior two. Hips turn. Arms straight out. Spine straight. Don't let that knee bend. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, go into reverse warrior. Left side's resting, right side's doing all the work. Look up at the palm of your hand if you can. Sink deeper into the pose. Inhale, exhale back to warrior two. Now, hinging at that right hip, hinge forward, breathe, breathe, breathe. Bring that forearm down onto your thigh, left hand to your hip, roll that shoulder open. Take a deep inhalation. Left hand comes up and over, extended angle. Ground that left foot into the earth. Reach those fingertips toward the sky. Your beautiful angle all the way down that left side. Look up at the palm of your left hand and balance a little bit. Just by lifting those eyes. Turn and look down at your right toes. Press the mounds of those toes into the mat. Without moving that lower body, come back to warrior two. Straighten that right leg. Parallel your feet and release your arms down. Deep breath. Okay. So, we're going to go back without the block. Hands on your hips, back into that flat back. Bring those hands down under the shoulders. And this time, we're going to walk over to that right leg, take a hold of that ankle, lower leg, and just using the breath, draw your upper body closer to that right thigh. Trying to see if you can get your nose to touch your knee. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Walk back to center. Let that spine, let that upper body just hang. Let it dangle. It likes this. And then walk over to your left leg. Take a deep breath. Draw your upper body towards your left thigh. You're going to feel stretches all over your body. Just use the breath. Let that body stretch. Then walk back to center. Let your head hang heavy. Let it dangle. Let's take our arms and cross at the elbows. And rock side to side. This is kind of fun. This feels good. And then release. Bring those hands back to the mat. We're going to press back up into that flat back. Look forward. Soften your knees. Hands to your hips. And roll that spine up. And walk those feet in. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. Okay. So, get your block. Place it next to your right foot. We're going to do eagle pose, a modification of, so don't be afraid. You can do this. Bring your hands to heart center. Roll your shoulders back and down. Close your eyes for a minute. Take a deep breath. So the first thing we want to remember in eagle pose is we want to keep our spine straight. So we don't want to lean forward from our hips. Otherwise, it'll throw our balance forward. We'll have to step off the mat. We don't want to do that. So you're just going to bend your knees and just sink. Okay? You've got the block next to you. So just imagine you're sitting at your breakfast table reading the newspaper and you decide to cross your leg. Cross your leg, toes on the block. If you can, sit a little deeper. Spine is still straight, it hasn't moved. Now, take that left arm, bring it forward. You're going to take the right arm forward, cross it over so that you're crossing at the elbows and intertwine those lower arms. If you can, use that left arm to reach around and grab a hold of that right thumb. Your arms, the upper arms are resting on your chest right now, but now we're going to take a deep breath and we're going to lift those arms and stretch through our upper back. Hold and breathe and balance and stretch. So much going on. If you've learned yourj breathing, this is a great time to focus on that. That's that vibration, that resonance in your throat. I say it sounds like Darth Vader. And then release those arms back down and release up. Shake out your legs. You're going to move that block now to the left side. Oh, take a deep breath, close your eyes. Bring your hands to heart center. Here we go. Straight spine, sit. Sink, sink, sink. So really what's happening is you're having to take your glutes and stretch them back almost to stay straight. And your knees. Your knees, in this particular case, can come out over those toes. All right, ready to cross your legs? Right onto the block. Sit deeper. Right arm comes forward. Left arm. Left elbow crosses over right. Intertwine those arms. Right hand takes a hold of the left thumb. And I call these candle flame fingers because they aren't all mushed together and crooked. They're straight up like prayer hands. They're resting on your chest, those upper arms. Now lift. And breathe. You can hear my breath. This is not easy. We're balancing, we're sinking into the pose, we're breathing, we're stretching across that back. And it all feels really good. Then release those arms down, let them go, cross those legs. Set that block aside. Get a drink of water. Always a good time. We're going to transition back to the mat. We're going to do some really couple hip opener poses. So come back to the top of your mat. Tadasana. You get another little break here. Fingers spread wide. Shoulders roll back and down. I like to think that from here I just move forward, and anything else in my practice today that I've done, I just check it off and then say I will improve it later and move on. Don't dwell on the past. Improve the present and the future. Inhale, arms to the sky. Swan dive with a flat back. Bend those knees as you come down. We're going to step back again, downward facing dog. Press into the palms of those hands, deepen that V. Bicycle those legs out. Then come down on your knees. You're going to turn yourself around and go down on your back and bring your knees to your chest. Try and move your hands down halfway between your knees and your ankles so you can get those thighs closer to the chest. Giving that back a nice stretch. Let's start by keeping the left thigh tucked in and out toward our left shoulder and release your right leg down. Flex that right foot so you're getting a good stretch and it's anchoring your right side onto the mat. Wind frame pose. Drop your right hand to your right hip, so you keep that whole right side down on the mat. And then you take your left hand very gently to the inside of your left thigh and let this leg drop out. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hip opener. Don't press it. Just let the weight of your hand do the work. And try to keep your knee as much at waist height as you can. Letting that breath do the work. Remember, today's, you don't have to do anything. It's called Let the Breath Do the Work Day. Now put your hand on the outside of that knee. Bring that knee back to center. Take your left hand out to the side. And with your right hand to the outside of that left knee, just roll over and stretch. Keep this left arm open. You'll feel a stretch across the front of the left shoulder. Flex that right foot. Don't let it go. I just did. Don't let it. And breathe into your back, your lower back, across the top of that pelvis. Come back to center, knees to chest. Rock side to side. Just think about the top of the left side of your pelvis. See if it feels like it's gotten a little flatter. Mine always does. Hope yours does too. All right, left leg extends. Flex that foot. Anchor that left leg down. And take this right leg towards your right shoulder. Then drop your left hand to your left hip, keeping that left side grounded. And right hand to the inside of the right thigh and just open up that leg. Try and again, keep it at waist height. So you're getting a good stretch. You're getting a good hip opening. Breath is working. Bring that hand back. Right arm goes out to the side, preferably palm down, so it keeps that shoulder open. And now with the right hand, just roll over. I always find when I do this, one side's tighter than the other. And this is the side. Just let my breath do the work. Let my breath stretch out that lower back. Come back to center, knees to chest. Rock side to side. Ooh, you should feel flatter. Love it when that happens. Okay, let those legs go out long. Take your arms overhead and stretch out. Oh. If you find this particular stretch painful, I really highly suggest you do more of it. Because when you get to that point where you can go like this and your body just goes, thank you, Carolyn. This feels so good. That's what you want to happen. You don't want this stretch to be painful. Because this is a good one. All right. Draw those knees back to your chest. Oh, rock side to side. Place your feet on the mat, about hip width apart, and let's tuck our shoulders underneath us. We're going up into bridge. If you've got your block close by, we're going to do a little hip flexor again, more hip flexor opening. And I want you to be able to lift your head if you're off the ground. Press your knees together as if you had an imaginary ball between them that you couldn't let drop. Squeeze those glutes, lift the hips. Bridge pose. We're really working those hip flexors today. And I'm going to fix this even more. So you got that block? I'm going to suggest you just use the lowest side. You're going to tuck it underneath you. And you're going to roll down onto it. So your tailbone and the upper part of your pelvis is resting on it comfortably. And you're going to start, take your right leg out first, just on your heel. Take your left leg out and feel the stretch that has occurred in your hip flexors again. Arms are to your side. Keep those shoulders tucked under and just stay here and breathe into that belly. Now, there are more intense ways of doing this stretch. And it's by taking this block, turning it up to the next level, and doing the same thing on it. But today I thought we'd stay down at the lowest level so you could experience that if you've never done this before, because it's quite the stretch. And then bring your right foot back in, bring your left foot back in, press back up into your bridge, and remove that block. Press into that imaginary ball, lift those hips, and then slowly roll that spine down. Tailbone comes last. All right. Bring your knees to your chest and out toward your shoulders. Happy baby. So, if you remember, you won't remember, but if you've ever seen a baby, they can actually take their knees to the ground. So we're just going to give it the old college try here. Next life, I always say, next life. Flex your feet. Flex those feet. And then go ahead and reach up, and again, with index and middle finger, take a hold of your big toes. And stretch those legs out. Oh. You can rock side to side here. And then we're going to place the bottoms of those feet together. Drop into reclining butterfly. Knees are open. So you're getting that last hip opener. And then we're going to take our legs out low. Arms at your sides. We're going to do just take those heels, dig them into the mat. We're going to do that little shake up of the spine like we've done before. It helps the central nervous system. So you're going to take by digging those heels into the mat and starting, your body's going to go back and forth and back and forth. And all of a sudden your head's going to just join in. Oh, just let that body, let that spine just shake itself out. And then going on with it. This might give it just what it needs. Let that head be loose. Relax. Then take a deep breath. Let those feet flap open. Turn those palms to the sky. Open your shoulders wide onto your mat. Close your eyes and let yourself melt into that mat for just a few breaths. Ujjayi breathing's good here. Let's hear that Darth Vader. Slowing that breath down. Then draw your knees to your chest. Roll over onto your right side and gently press yourself up. Come back up into your potted palm. Place your hands on your knees. Today, taking a hold of that ring finger fingernail for breath. How appropriate. Tuck your chin to your chest, close your eyes. Breathe. Check in with your body. This is a good time to just do that scan of your body and see how it feels. Stretched out like it's been worked, but yet relaxed, at peace. Then open your eyes and look at the ground below you. Start to lengthen that spine. Starting to stack those vertebrae one by one, by one, by one. Come up. Crown of the head reaches toward the sky. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. And inhale, up. Bringing hands through heart center into prayer. Namaste. My spirit honors yours. Thank you for joining me today. If you didn't get to see this live, it will be back up on my site, or you can go to Total Fitness, Carolyn Anderson and YouTube, and you can watch it there. Cool thing on YouTube is if you have a smart TV, you have a YouTube channel. And you can go to that YouTube channel and you can put me as big as you want onto your screen and do yoga with me. It just seems like I'm in the room with you. It's wonderful. Namaste again. Nice to see you all. Love you.